Hello again, my name's John. I'm a retired cook from the northeast of England in the UK, and welcome to another one of my bread videos. In this one I'll be making this delicious half and half loaf. It's made from 50% white bread flour and 50% whole wheat flour, so it has the light texture of white bread with the goodness of brown bread all in one loaf, and I like to call it best of both. And here's a list of the simple ingredients you'll need if you want to have a go at making it yourself. There'll also be a list of the ingredients in the description box below the video. I'll start the recipe by making sure the yeast is alive and kicking by adding it to the lukewarm water along with a teaspoon of sugar. And this is the only reason the sugar's in this recipe, to test the yeast. The water should be around 35 degrees Celsius, that's 95 Fahrenheit. And it's always best to test your yeast before starting the bread. Right, I'll set that aside to prove while I prepare a 2 pound or 900 gram loaf tin. The dimensions of the tin are on screen. I'm using a little lard to grease mine, but you can use butter, shortening or oil. But personally I find lard to be the cheapest and the best release agent you can use. Okay, I'll get the other ingredients into the bowl, starting with the white bread flour, followed by the whole wheat or brown flour and the salt, and give those a good mix with a whisk. Now, if you've got a stand mixer, you can just throw everything into that at this point and set it away for 10 minutes using the door hook. But not everyone has a machine, so I'll be demonstrating this recipe by hand. Time to add the wet ingredients, and as you can see the yeast mixture is nice and frothy, which means it's alive and well and ready to go. So I can safely add that to the bowl along with the oil. Okay, using my trusty wooden spoon handle, I'll give it all a quick mix. Once all the liquid has been soaked up by the flour, I'll turn it out onto the bench and start to pull it all together with my hands. Make sure you scrape all the dried flour from the sides of the bowl. Once that's done, add about a teaspoon of oil to the empty bowl as shown. This is so the dough will release easily after the first proof. Right, I'll gently start pulling the dough together with my hands. At first the mix will seem on the dry side, but if you've weighed the quantities correctly, it'll all come together in a couple of minutes. Which brings me to this next delicate subject. I'm constantly being asked to provide cup and measuring jug measurements. As a professional chef, and apart from teaspoon and tablespoon measurements, I will only ever use digital scale units for my recipes, either in grams or ounces, preferably the former, because grams are a smaller unit and you get a much more accurate result. I've looked into cup measurements, I've even bought 2 sets and both give different quantities every time. The only people who are experiencing problems are those who are attempting to convert my measurements to cups and jugs. So please, if you can, get yourself a set of digital scales. They are so cheap these days and they are massively more accurate than cups and jugs. I will do a video on the subject in the new year to show just how much of a difference scales will make to your cooking. Right, now that the dough's come together, it needs to be kneaded for 10 minutes. If you want to learn a couple of kneading techniques, check out my sandwich bread video. I'll leave a link in the description box below. Okay, after that little workout, I'll get the dough into the bowl as shown. Cover and set your timer for 1 hour. If you've used a stand mixer to mix your dough for the last 10 minutes, we're all at the same point now. So grab yourself a clean oiled bowl and follow along from here. And just out of interest, this is the temperature in my kitchen today. About 23 Celsius, that's 73 Fahrenheit. If your kitchen is a little cooler than that, your dough may take a little longer to rise. You'll just have to work that out. Right, after that hour, your dough should have at least doubled in size, and as you can see, mine has. And notice how easily it's fallen out of the bowl. That's due to the oil I applied earlier. Now press all the gas out of the dough. This is called knocking the dough back, and shape it just like I'm doing in the video. This next step is optional, and that's adding a few mixed seeds to the top of the loaf. To help them stick to the loaf, spray on a little water first, as shown in the video. And FYI, I'm using a mix of sunflower, pumpkin, sesame and flax seeds. Once you're happy with the seeds, get it into the tin and press it down to make sure all the corners are filled. If you've got any gaps in the seeds, you can just fill them in now while it's in the tin. If you've watched my sandwich bread and wholemeal loaf videos, you'll be familiar with this improvised proving box method to proof the dough in the baking tin. All you do is part fill the sink with hot water around 40 degrees Celsius, that's 105 Fahrenheit, and place the tin in a large plastic storage box as shown in the video. If you don't have or don't want to use a proving box, cover the tin with a lightweight cloth and allow it to rise in a warm, draft-free spot until it has risen just above the rim of the loaf tin. This could take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour depending on the temperature in your kitchen. But by using the proving box method, you're in control of the temperature, therefore the rise is more predictable. Also have a damp clean cloth in the bottom of the box to maintain a moist atmosphere, and it'll stop the tin sliding around. Now I'll put the lid on with a heavy weight to stop the box bobbing about and set the timer for 30 minutes. When there's only 10 minutes left on the rise, preheat your oven to 190 degrees Celsius, that's 375 Fahrenheit, or gas mark 5. I'm setting mine to 170 as my oven is fan assisted and it runs about 20 degrees hotter than indicated on the dial. Time's up, and as you can see, mine has risen. Don't let it rise any more than this because it'll continue to rise in the oven, and if it's too high when you put it in the oven, it'll fall over at the edges and end up looking like a giant bread mushroom loaf. Now I'll get it into the preheated oven and set the timer for 30 minutes. And after the 30 minutes, there it is, looking absolutely amazing. It's a little on the large side on one side, as you can see, but that's because I forgot to turn it round in the oven halfway through the baking time. My bad. But that's just a little aesthetic glitch. It won't affect the taste in any way. Now you can call this done at this point if you want, but I'm not finished yet. I'll get it out of the tin and back into the oven, commando style, for a further 5 minutes to crisp up the crust a bit more. And there it is in all its glory. I'll leave it on the wire rack for at least 30 minutes to let it cool down a bit, and then I'll cut a couple of slices off to let you see what the texture's like on the inside. And of course have a little taste test with some of my homemade butter. Right, it's been about 30 minutes and the smell in my kitchen is amazing, and I really can't wait any longer to try it. And as you can see, it has the soft, light texture of a white loaf, but the looks of a brown or wholemeal loaf. Okay, at last it's time to try a piece with some of my homemade butter. If you want to know how I make this butter, I'll leave a link in the description box below. It really is very easy to make. And here we go. And just as I said, it has the texture of white bread, but the warm, comforting taste of brown or wholemeal bread, but not as strong. And this will be a fantastic way to get kids started on eating a healthier bread, because it really is delicious and definitely gets a thumbs up. Well, thank you again for watching. Please like, share, comment and subscribe by hitting the circle above. If you do subscribe, activate the bell icon next to the subscribe button on my channel page. And by doing that, you'll be automatically notified every time I upload a new video. And in the meantime, here's a few of my other videos and playlists that you may want to watch. So, until the next time, be safe in the kitchen and bye for now.